Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of AEW's Forbidden Door. Starting off the night, we got a highly profiled tag team matchup. It is the reunion, if you will, of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on Kip Sabian and the return of Killswitch. The match itself was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with Copeland and Cage keeping the pace of the match. Killswitch gets involved in the match by hitting a chokeslam on Copeland. Copeland and Cage then hit an impaler on Killswitch in the middle of the ring. Copeland hits a spear on Killswitch, followed by Copeland hitting another spear on Kip Sabian. Pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. After the match, you can see Adam and Christian Cage embracing in the middle of the ring. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to this matchup. Number one, it's great to see that Copeland and Cage are back together. I mean, it's been almost 20 years since these guys have, been a tag team. It's great to see them back. And for what it's worth, it's great to see them back in AEW as a tag team. And not only that, the tag team division in AEW is not what it once was in the first 3 years of AEW. The tag team, I've been one of the only people that have stressed enough that the tag team division in AEW is abysmal. And that's not taking anything away from the tag teams that are on the roster. It's just how it's put together right now, and the direction of the tag team division is definitely not what it once was. There's solid tag teams on the roster. I mean, you have the Outrunners, which honestly, for what it's worth, the Outrunners should have been in the finals. It should have been FTR versus the Outrunners. The winner will go on to Forbidden Door. Obviously, that didn't happen, where we got the finals of the tournament being FTR versus Bandito and Brody King. With that being said, I mean, look, man, the way that they can set this up, obviously, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage could possibly make a run for the AEW World Tag Team titles. When you look at the other side of the fence, especially in this matchup with the likes of Kip Sabian and Killswitch, I'm going to be honest. For what it's worth, obviously Nick Wayne is out with injury. That's the reason why he wasn't a part of this matchup at Forbidden Door. According to Nick Wayne, he suffered a broken foot, which took him off the card for Forbidden Door, so that's why we got Kip Sabian teaming up with Killswitch. For what it's worth, man, number one, it's great to see Killswitch back. It's great to see, or Luchasaurus back. Everybody knew what was going on with Luchasaurus. Obviously, he had some lung issues. Nobody really thought, he was going to be returning anytime soon, or just return at all, with the serious injury and illness that he was dealing with. Now that, Luchasaurus is back in the fold, a lot of people are raising some eyebrows on the fact, okay, what's next for, the patriarchy, if you will? What's next for Luchasaurus? And this is my take on Luchasaurus. I think that with Luchasaurus being back, no one knows what Jack Perry's doing right now. And you guys can probably already kind of tell where I'm going with this, but there needs to be a reunion of Jurassic Express, to be honest. And you can get a more gritty, more, savage Jurassic Express, this time around than what we got in the original formation of AEW. I think Jack Perry, if he were to return to AEW, I think the scapegoat character is just not working. I mean, if you look at the narrative right now with the Elite, there's really no Elite anymore. The Young Bucks are kind of doing their own thing right now. Okada's teaming up with Don Callis and the Don Callis family. There's really no need right now for an Elite reunion. I just don't see it. And the scapegoat character for Jack Perry, yeah, it worked at one time when, Jack Perry was dealing with, situations with Tony Khan and how all that situation played out with, Jack going over to New Japan, creating the scapegoat character, yada, 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 so on and so forth. If they want to bring Jack back to AEW, I think the best way to do that is, reunite Luchasaurus and Jack Perry. You can have a more gritty, more, grungy, more attitude-ish Jurassic Express moving forward in the AEW Tag Team division, because honestly, for what it's worth, they need suitable teams. And to have a, reunion, if you will, of Jurassic Express and slot them into the tag team division, it can bring a little more, a little bit of limelight to the AEW tag team division right now, because it's just not there. It's just not. It's one of the things in AEW that's, progressively getting worse, to be honest. I even mentioned this before too, when it pertains to Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. I would love to see a reunion between those two guys and reunite the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn, because right now, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster going on this single run right now, it's not working for either one of these guys. It's just not. It's not working out for Anthony Bowens. It's damn sure not working out for Max Caster. It's just not working. And I understand that, some people that are in tag teams, they want to go off and do their own thing and have a singles run. I mean, you look at Santana and Ortiz, they were a great tag team. One of the, a very, very good tag team. a tag team that was always overlooked, underrated severely. And, now that Santana's doing his own thing, obviously over in TNA, I think Ortiz is out with injury. I mean, a lot of people are wondering what's going to be next for Ortiz. But Santana's doing the damn thing, man. He's doing great things over in TNA, and, obviously he's been working with, TNA, obviously, as well as NXT. He's has matches for the NXT World Championship or the TNA World Championship, so Santana's doing the thing, man. He's doing great. He's doing the damn thing over on TNA. He's doing great stuff over in NXT as well. So obviously it benefited Santana right now more than Ortiz as far as the tag team split up between those two guys. But as far as the tag team division in AEW, like I mentioned earlier, man, I mean, Edge and Christian can definitely go after the tag team titles. That's currently being held right now by Brody King and Bandito, which I will get to here in a minute. But again, this is something that AEW desperately needs to, or hopefully will focus on moving forward, because the tag team division definitely is not what it once was. I mean, if you get the return of the Gun Club with Austin and Colton Gunn, you got the Guns back, you get them into the tag team picture in AEW as well, going after the AEW tag team titles, reunite Jurassic Express, reunite, maybe the Acclaimed, and get the tag team division rolling again. You also have the Young Bucks that are also waiting in the balance as well. Like I said, they're not really having the whole elite thing anymore, with Okada being a part of Don Callis' family, Jack Perry. Nobody really knows what's going on with Jack Perry. So the Young Bucks are pretty much on an island all by themselves. So again, you can incorporate them in the tag team division as well, and we can start bringing some limelight back to the AEW tag team division. Moving on from that, we have a TNT title defense, or title matchup. It's Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Takahashi. I thought it was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Fletcher and Takahashi, with Fletcher and Takahashi both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Fletcher was trying to keep the pace of the match, but Takahashi hits a Hurricanrana. Fletcher then hits an avalanche backdrop for a near fall. Fletcher then hits a Liger Bomb for a near fall in the middle of the ring, followed by Takahashi hitting a sunset powerbomb on Fletcher to the outside. It looked absolutely brutal. Takahashi then hits a Destroyer on Fletcher for a near fall, followed by Fletcher getting up, hitting a Tombstone Pile Driver, followed by a Brainbuster by Fletcher on Takahashi, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still TNT champion, is Kyle Fletcher. Hats off to Kyle Fletcher for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we got a Fatal 4-Way for Mercedes Moné's TBS title. It is Alex Windsor taking on Bozilla versus Persephone versus Mercedes Moné. I thought it was a good match, back and forth matchup, with Bozilla keeping the pace of the match. Windsor and Persephone both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Moné hitting a Meteora for a near fall. Moné then applies a statement maker on Windsor and Persephone, but the hold is broken. Windsor then applies a double sharpshooter in the middle of the ring, but the hold is broken. Persephone then hits a spear on Windsor in the middle of the ring. Bozilla then hits a moonsault off the top rope, very Vader-ish, on Windsor and Persephone. Moné then hits a Poison Rana on Bozilla, followed by Persephone hitting a Razor's Edge on Bozilla. Windsor then applies a sharpshooter, but the hold is broken. Moné then hits a roll-up, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still TBS champion, is Mercedes Moné. Hats off to Mercedes Moné for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It is Nigel McGuinness taking on Zack Sabre Jr. I thought the match was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between McGuinness and Sabre, with Sabre keeping the pace of the match. Nigel and Zack then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with McGuinness hitting a Tower of London for a near fall. But Zack Sabre Jr. ends up hitting a roll-up on Nigel McGuinness, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and still IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, is Zack Sabre Jr. Hats off to Zack Sabre Jr. for getting the win in this matchup. After the match, we can see Aminata and Thekla fighting backstage. Fight goes out to the crowd. Julia Hart and Sky Blue end up attacking Aminata. Then all of a sudden, music hits. It's Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is now back in AEW, and Hayter comes out to the ring and attacks Thekla, pretty much sending a message to Thekla that she is back. And Jamie Hayter has her sights set on Thekla. Moving on from that, we have an AEW Tag Team title matchup. It's a triple threat tag team match. It's FTR taking on Brody King and Bandito versus the Hurt Syndicate. I thought the match was a decent match. Back and forth matchup with all teams involved, with the Hurt Syndicate keeping the pace of the match. Dax Harwood and Bandito both exchange in the middle of the ring, followed by Brody King and Lashley both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Shelton Benjamin hits multiple German suplexes in the middle of the ring, followed by King and Wheeler hitting a shatter machine on Shelton Benjamin. Bandito then hits an avalanche followed by a slam, followed by Lashley hitting a spear on Wheeler on the outside. Lashley then hits a spear on Brody King, followed by two New Japan talents that were pretty much masked superstars. Nobody initially knew who they were. Attack the Hurt Syndicate. Dax then capitalizes on this by hitting King with a chair shot. And the people that actually attacked the Hurt Syndicate were actually being revealed as Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. They attack the Hurt Syndicate. Bandito then capitalizes on this by hitting a frog splash off the top rope on Dax Harwood. Pins for the 3. And your winners of the match and new AEW Tag Team Champions are Brody King and Bandito. Hats off to Brody King and Bandito for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have an AEW Unified Championship matchup. It is Okada defending the Unified Championship against Swerve Strickland. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Okada and Swerve, with Swerve keeping the pace of the match. Okada hits a DDT off the steel steps on Swerve on the outside, followed by Okada and Swerve both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Swerve ends up hitting a rolling flatliner on Okada. Swerve then hits an angle slam off the top rope for a near fall. Okada then hits a devastating tombstone piledriver on the outside on Swerve, followed by an elbow drop off the top rope. Swerve then gets up, hits a house call, followed by a Swerve stomp on Okada for a near fall. Swerve then hits another house call on Okada. Swerve then goes for a house call, but Okada counters it with a Rainmaker, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Okada. After the match, Okada then attacks Swerve. Prince Nana is here to save Swerve, and all of a sudden, appearing out of nowhere, standing in the middle of the ring, is Wardlow. Wardlow is here. Wardlow ends up attacking Prince Nana. So it looks like Wardlow has returned to AEW after being gone for so long. And it looks like he has his sights set on Swerve Strickland. Some interesting stuff there between Wardlow and Swerve Strickland. Moving on from that, we have an AEW Women's Championship matchup. It's Athena versus Toni Storm. I thought it was a good match. Decent match at best. Back and forth matchup between Athena and Storm, with Athena keeping the pace of the match. Storm hits a Tiger Driver for a near fall, followed by Athena and Toni Storm both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Athena hits a Hurricane Rana on Storm, followed by a Liger Bomb for a near fall. Storm then hits a Storm Zero for a near fall on Athena. Mina then chases off Starks. This allowed Toni Storm to apply a chicken wing on Athena. Athena taps out, and your winner of the match, and still AEW's Women's Champion, is Toni Storm. Hats off to Toni Storm for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have an AEW World Championship matchup. It is Adam Page defending the AEW World title against MJF. The match itself, I thought, was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Page and MJF, with Page keeping the pace of the match. MJF then hits a pile driver on Page for a near fall, followed by Page hitting a fallaway slam on MJF. Page hits a moonsault to the outside, taking out MJF, followed by Page hitting a pump-up power bomb in the middle of the ring on MJF for a near fall. Page then goes for a buckshot lariat, but MJF counters it with a salt of the earth in the middle of the ring, but the hold is broken. MJF then hits a hammerlock DDT on Page for a near fall, followed by Page hitting a tombstone on the outside on MJF. Page then hits a deadeye off the apron through a table on MJF that looked absolutely brutal. MJF then somehow gets up, hits a tombstone of his own on Page through the broken table ringside. Page and MJF then both exchange, with Page hitting a deadeye for a near fall. MJF then pulls out the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Page calls MJF a dumbass. MJF then spits in Page's face. MJF then hits a Heat Seeker on Page. Referee is taken out. Briscoe is here. He's trying to get to MJF. MJF ends up hitting a low blow on Adam Page. Referee doesn't see it. MJF then hits Page with a briefcase. Referee distracted for a near fall. MJF then puts on the Dynamite Diamond Ring, but the referee catches MJF. Page then hits MJF with the contract, with the referee being distracted, followed by Page hitting a deadeye, followed by a buckshot lariat, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still AEW World Champion, is Adam Page. Hats off to Adam Page for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have the Lights Out Cage match, the main event of Forbidden Door. It is Darby Allin teaming up with Tanahashi, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Will Ospreay to take on the Young Bucks, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Gabe Kidd. The match itself, I thought it was a good match. I think the video package for Ospreay was pretty cool. It was a back-and-forth matchup. Darby, Tanahashi, Ibushi, Omega, and Ospreay were keeping the pace of the match. Gabe Kidd hits a pile driver on Ospreay to look absolutely brutal, followed by Claudio hitting a giant swing on Omega. Young Bucks then hit a TK driver on Ibushi in the middle of the ring, followed by Claudio sending Darby into the cage with a press slam. Claudio then tapes Darby to a chair. Moxley then attacks Darby with a fork that looked absolutely brutal. Young Bucks then hit a BTE trigger on Tanahashi, followed by Ospreay sending Moxley into the barbed wire table. Omega then hits a Snapdragon suplex in the middle of the ring, followed by Ospreay hitting a moonsault off the top of the cage, pretty much taking out everyone ringside. Omega and Gabe Kidd then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Ospreay hitting a hidden blade on the Young Bucks. Ospreay and Omega hit a V-trigger into a hidden blade for a near fall in the middle of the ring, followed by Omega hitting a one-winged angel on Jon Moxley for a near fall. Darby Allin then attacks Wheeler Yuta, but Darby hits Moxley with a kendo stick. Darby and Gabe Kidd are on top of the cage. They fall off the top of the cage through a table structure on the outside. Ospreay then hits a Stormbreaker on Claudio in the middle of the ring, followed by Ospreay and Omega hitting a Blade Runner into a one-winged angel. Tanahashi then comes out of nowhere, hits the finish, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Darby Allin, Tanahashi, Ibushi, Omega, and Will Ospreay. After the match, you can see Moxley hitting multiple paradigm shifts on Ospreay, basically injuring Ospreay even more. The Ops come out to the ring trying to save Will Ospreay. A couple of things I want to talk about when it pertains to the Forbidden Door before I get the hell up out of here, man. Number one, was it the best AEW pay-per-view? No, it was not. It just wasn't, man. To be honest with you guys, man, it was 5.5 hours. And yeah, I liked the early, start time. The 1 o'clock start time was nice. I mean, obviously the show was pretty much sold out with almost 19,000 fans at the O2 Arena, which, like I told you guys before leading up to Forbidden Door, that it was pretty much damn near sold out. With that being said, the crowd was great. There were some matches on the card that I wasn't, completely bored of or against. But there was some moments and some matches I would say that I wasn't really too keen on, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different changes going on in AEW for the next few weeks, and that's definitely something I wanted to talk to you guys about. Number one, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Swerve Strickland, who might not be an elephant in the room, but for me it is. Swerve Strickland had a high-profile matchup against Okada for the Unified Championship. Now, leading into this matchup, we knew that Swerve was supposedly sustaining some kind of knee injury leading up to this matchup with Okada. We get to the match between Swerve and Okada. You can see Swerve kind of milking the leg a little bit. You can tell that it's kind of, the leg kind of frustrating him a little bit. But then out of nowhere, we see Wardlow. Wardlow comes out of the ring. He attacks Prince Nana, sending a message to Swerve. Now it's to a point where, okay, well, we see Wardlow. It's great to see Wardlow back in AEW. It's been long enough since we haven't seen the goddamn guy. But now he has his sights set on Swerve Strickland. The issue that I have with this is, number one, it's great to see Wardlow back. But why are we putting Wardlow with Swerve Strickland? That's my biggest thing. To me, if you were going to bring Wardlow back into the fold of AEW, I think a lot of people, including people that I've talked to and either other people that are in the podcast realm, have even said and made statements stating the fact that if we're going to bring Wardlow back, why are we not incorporating Wardlow into the matchup between MJF and Adam Page? No disqualification, everything else like that. Why are we not bringing Wardlow in to possibly cause MJF this match against Page, or possibly help Wardlow? Wardlow could possibly help MJF get the win over Page and reunite MJF and Wardlow. A lot of people have been speculating the fact that we might be eventually maybe see once again, a reunion of the Pinnacle, where originally it was MJF, Wardlow, and FTR. For me, honestly, I think that'd be fantastic for a reunion of the Pinnacle. I think it'd be a great stable on AEW television, and right now I think that the way things are playing out for both FTR and MJF and them being heels, I think it'd be fantastic to reunite these guys and reunite the Pinnacle. I think it'd be great. So a lot of people were up in arms and frustrated with the fact that we saw Wardlow basically in the wrong match. A lot of people wanted to see him a part of the MJF and Adam Page match. Instead, we got Wardlow returning and attacking Swerve Strickland, and mainly attacking Prince Nana, sending a message to Swerve Strickland that, Wardlow has a target, that Swerve has a target on his back because of Wardlow. So it was great to see Wardlow back, but I don't know where they're going with this matchup. Number two, the other thing I want to talk about, obviously, is the main event. We got this lights-out cage match, man, and for what it's worth, you can tell just right off the rip before the match even got started that you knew for a fact that this might be the last time that we see Will Ospreay for a while. it was like sending this guy off into the pasture, man. Like, this guy is going to retire after tonight. And then after that match. I mean, from the video package that was played from Ospreay, where, you see his family, you see Alex Windsor, you see all these emotional things from Will Ospreay, and then we see Ospreay come out to the ring. He's damn near in tears walking to the ring. Tanahashi and Omega and Kota Ibushi and everybody is embracing Will Ospreay, pretty much telling everybody, like, hey, this is probably going to be the last time that we're going to see this guy for quite some time, because he might have to actually require neck surgery. The same surgery that we saw Adam Copeland have, where no one thought that Edge was going to return, and he was gone for a year, 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen with Ospreay. And this is something where a lot of people are very, very concerned about and very nervous about, because Ospreay is one of those guys, to be honest, that's really elevated AEW. He's one of the top guys in the company, right beside Swerve Strickland. And to lose basically one of your aces of the company for a substantial amount of time, we're talking, if he does, had to get neck surgery, Will Ospreay can be out easily for a year, year and a half. We don't know when this guy is going to return, or even if he's able to return after this, possible neck surgery that Will Ospreay is going to have to get, possibly. So nobody knows what's going to happen with AEW. A lot of people are on edge and worried about, where's the direction of this company? Where are we going, man? Now we're losing, if not one of our biggest stars, or if not the biggest star in the company, and he's going to require time off because of a possible neck surgery. You have Swerve Strickland as well, also dealing with a possible knee injury. I mean, a lot of people were saying that, AEW might lose their top 2 stars for a little while, with Swerve dealing with, a knee injury, and then we have Ospreay possibly, have to require neck surgery for an injured neck. So, I mean, I don't know where they're going to go from here as far as AEW is concerned. And for a fan, it is alarming, because AEW doesn't know how to build stars. They just don't. I mean, you look at someone like Kevin Knight, where it's like, okay, well, they brought this guy in, and now he's basically a jobber. I mean, Tony Khan really doesn't have, the spirit in him to really, embrace the fact that you have younger stars on this roster that you should try to elevate into the main event scene, and we're not doing that right now. We're just not. We're relying on guys like Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, and Swerve Strickland to really elevate AEW into the position that Tony Khan feels comfortable enough with in the progression of this company. With right now, it's really not a whole lot of progression, to be honest. And yeah, you see Adam Page, and he's carrying the World Heavyweight Championship, but we don't know what's next for Adam Page. And the reason why I'm saying this is because during the media scrum for AEW's Forbidden Door, Tony Khan made comments specifically, pertaining to the contract that's being held by MJF. And a lot of people, were, including Tony Khan, were saying that, this is not going to be something that WWE does, that does a random cash-in. And that Tony Khan wants to respect the sport. He doesn't really want it to be like WWE-ish. So a lot of people were saying, well, they might give, Adam Page a heads up a week before, that way he has time for a title defense, which I think is absolutely insane. It takes away the entire concept of the contract, to be honest. I mean, my thing is, if you're going to do that, then why even bring this whole thing into the fold of AEW? Because at the end of the day, Tony Khan took this idea from the Money in the Bank. That's an event that's being held by WWE. It's been going on for years. But now you don't really want to do a cash-in contract signing. Now you want to give the champion a week's notice leading up to the contract signing to respect the sport, according to Tony Khan. To me, I think that's a shitty move, to be honest, man. I mean, you want unpredictability. You know what I mean? You don't and that's the thing about Forbidden Door that was the biggest takeaway for me. That was, everything was predictable, man. It really was. I mean, maybe besides the tag team matchup, everything was pretty much predictable, from Toni Storm to Mercedes Moné. Definitely. I mean, she's not dropping that TBS title, man. I'm telling you guys right now, Tony Khan wants Mercedes Moné to beat the TBS title record currently held by Jade Cargill, who's currently right now a WWE talent. Tony Khan wants Mercedes Moné to beat that record. I mean, you see how many belts this woman has. She has 9 different titles. Even Lance Storm said it's honestly getting ridiculous. And it is. He's not wrong. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because to be honest with you, I think there's other talent on that roster that's better than Mercedes Moné, to be honest with you, that are not getting the spotlight, not getting the showcase, to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion, and I gave my opinion on Mercedes Moné. She's a very good wrestler, but she's in the business for herself, man. she's looking to go back to WWE, and she's trying to do whatever she can to raise her stock. So when her contract comes up, she's going to use that shit as leverage with WWE. Absolutely. But like I said, man, there's a lot of things with this event that it's, I'm not sitting here saying that this is a reset button for AEW, but we need to figure out, a lot of people are wondering where the direction of the company's going to go after this. We know Ospreay's taking probably time off. Swerve might be taking some time off. Even though we saw a little situation there between Wardlow and Swerve Strickland, there's a good chance that Swerve might take some time off with a possible knee injury. Where's the direction of this company? Where are we going? The tag team division needs a facelift like you would not believe. And I made comments about that earlier with the Adam Copeland Christian Cage tag match against Killswitch and Kip Sabian. I would love to see a reunion between Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. Get a grungier, more evil Jurassic Express. I think it's well overdue for a reunion between those two guys. The Acclaimed. You reunite Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, and they have the Acclaimed go after the tag team titles, put them back in the tag team division, because not for nothing, man, it's not benefiting Bowens or Max Caster at all on this singles run. Max Caster looks like an absolute goddamn joke. And with all due respect to Bowens, man, it's not benefiting him at all. It's just not. It's not. And no offense to those guys, they don't even have the track record right now to really say, you know what, we spent our time together, let's go on a singles run. They just haven't. They were on a run like Santana and Ortiz. These guys were a freshly new tag team that wanted to, venture out and do their own thing, which I respected. But man, sometimes you got to feed the hot hand. And the Acclaimed, they were over. They were immensely over with the fans. But both Bowens and Caster and Billy Gunn involved with both those guys, I mean, the Acclaimed were severely over. And this is something where if I was Tony Khan, I would be contemplating bringing these guys back into the fold and putting them in the tag team division. Absolutely. The Young Bucks, again, they're on the same boat, man. Right now they're on an island all by themselves. There is no Omega, there's no Adam Page, there's no Jack Perry, Okada's with Don Callis. I would bring back the old school Young Bucks. And maybe that's the way they're going, which is great. I mean, as of late, there's been, the Young Bucks putting out Being the Elite videos, which we haven't really seen since 2023. So is this something where they're going to do a complete 360 and maybe come back as baby faces, man, and come back as the old school Young Bucks, the Young Bucks that everybody fell in love with, that everybody gravitated towards? Are we going to get those Young Bucks back into the fold of AEW? And I think it's something that not only AEW needs, but the fans of AEW need. You know what I mean? We need the old school Matt and Nick Jackson from the Young Bucks. We need the Super Kick Party. That's what we need. And hopefully they bring that back. Like I mentioned, man, they're starting to do these small little Being the Elite videos again. They haven't done anything with Being the Elite since 2023. And the fact that they're starting to slowly do stuff with Being the Elite, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And I think it's something that hopefully they continue to keep doing. And they bring that back and they really incorporate that, and to them coming back as the old school Young Bucks. Reunite Jurassic Express, reunite the Acclaimed. You got the Outrunners, you got, Austin and Colton Gunn, the Guns. Put them in the tag team division. Where's the grizzled young veterans? Put them into the tag team division. You know what I mean? Because at one time AEW's tag team division was great. Now it's complete. It's like second fiddle at this point. Not a lot of people give a shit about the tag team division. You got AOP, the Authors of Pain, who I believe are currently free agents. Let's bring them into the fold, man. I think a lot of people would actually love seeing AOP, Akam and Razor against Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I think it'd be a really good tag team matchup. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I don't know hell, for what all intents and purposes, Baron Corbin. I think Baron Corbin's been tag teaming up with Dijak. I don't know what their situation is, but bring them into the fold. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other options that they can do as far as elevating this tag team division. And my thing is, with Forbidden Door, I thought for sure we were going to see maybe a possible debut. Somebody was going to, walk through the Forbidden Door. There's an abundance of free agents right now that a lot of people are still waiting at the wayside, seeing what the hell's going on with them. There was comments about Shayna Baszler possibly coming over to AEW due to the fact that she has friends in the company, and she's really close to Marina Shafir, who's a current AEW superstar. Why are we not seeing Shayna Baszler? There's also Dakota Kai, which, AEW and Tony Khan were very high on bringing in Dakota Kai before she re-signed with WWE, and they brought her back. Why are we not seeing Dakota Kai in AEW? Here's the other thing, too, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's still a work, I got to see it to believe it. But if the truth is the truth and Karrion Kross is a free agent, why are we not entertaining the idea of bringing in someone like Karrion Kross to possibly AEW? He's not going to go to New Japan. I don't see him going to TNA. You know what I mean? At least as a businessman. I'm not saying everybody has to go to AEW. I'm not saying that. But as a businessman that Tony Khan is, why are we not at least entertaining the idea of having a conversation with Karrion Kross on the possibilities of bringing someone like Kross into the fold of AEW? He has a huge following. They can gain a lot of money and from Kross because people are going to want to buy his merch. They're going to want to see him on AEW television. He can be a big-time player for AEW if Tony Khan decided to bring someone in like Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Imagine the vignettes. Imagine the matches that he could have. Kross versus Mox. Kross versus Darby. Kross versus Swerve. Omega versus Kross. There's a lot of matches on the table for Kross to have in AEW as well. That'd be very intriguing to have. Okada versus Kross. You know what I mean? Like, you can have Wardlow versus Kross. So there's a lot of matches that you can have from Karrion Kross and then have him under the AEW umbrella. You know, it's still yet to be seen, but I'm just saying they can really gain a lot of money from acquiring the talent of a Karrion Kross. Absolutely. I know they just brought in Isla Dawn, who was a former WWE talent who was let go. They brought her in. She made her debut against Megan Bayne on Collision. Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think the AEW's women's roster right now is one of the main things that's keeping AEW above water. With the likes of Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, and you got Chris Statlander, Megan Bayne, Willow. You have really good names in that women's division right now that a lot of people are, okay, yeah, let's see what's going on. A lot of people are huge fans, myself included, of Toni Storm. Toni Storm, at times, I feel like that woman carries that company on her goddamn back, and she runs with it, and she's done a fantastic job with it. And that's the other thing about Toni Storm, man. She's been winning these matches great. You know, she beat Mercedes Moné. She retained her AEW World title. She had this matchup against Athena. She ended up, choking out Athena. Athena taps out. And there's a lot of things about that matchup that I liked and I didn't like. I mean, Athena, they're making Athena look like shit on AEW television, man. From her on Dynamite to these pay-per-views. All in, shit. All out, shit. You know what I mean? She's going to go back to Ring of Honor, and I don't see her back on Dynamite television for a very long time. I just don't. And the crazy thing is, you made her look like shit, and she's almost got a 1,000-day title reign with the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So not only does it make Athena look like shit, it makes that Ring of Honor Women's title mean absolutely jack shit when she took losses from Moné and Toni Storm. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's going to give a rat's ass about her 1,000-day Ring of Honor Women's Championship title run. Because you made her look weak against Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. And that's the other thing. Toni Storm. I love Toni Storm. I think she's great. I think she's great for wrestling. I think she's great for AEW. It's one of the best things going right now on AEW television. But as a fan, you had to ask yourself this question. Who truly is next for Toni Storm? Who is going to be the woman that is going to dethrone Toni Storm and become the new AEW Women's Championship? Because it wasn't Mercedes Moné and it wasn't Athena. Now you had to ask yourself, okay, who genuinely is next for the likes of Toni Storm? Honestly, on paper right now, who is next? Who is a top contender right now for Toni Storm? The next number one contender. And I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, honestly, this is where, like I mentioned earlier, you bring in someone like Shayna Baszler. You bring in someone like Dakota Kai. Someone that can elevate the women's division. Someone that can actually, challenge Toni Storm in a matchup. Because right now, there's really no suitable challenger for me right now for Toni Storm's AEW Women's title or championship, knowing that in about 2-3 weeks from now, we have All Out. You know what I mean? Is she going to defend the belt at All Out? Is she going to, how is this going to work? And that's the thing with All Out, man. It's literally 2-3 weeks after, Forbidden Door. Or it's not All Out. We have, is it All Out? I think it is All Out. Yeah. What are we going to do for All Out? Well, we got 2 or 3 weeks to build towards that show. I mean, you look at something like Adam Page and MJF. Is MJF going to sign the contract and then we get another rematch between Page and MJF? Most likely. Maybe a triple threat matchup between Briscoe, MJF, and Adam Page? Maybe. For the AEW World Championship, what's Toni Storm going to do? Who's going to be the next suitable challenger for Toni Storm that's going to be credible enough for the next 3 weeks leading up into All Out? That's what I'm saying, man. It's just sometimes they back themselves in a corner. And I said the same thing about the MJF match leading up to Forbidden Door. How is this going to work? You know what I mean? And now, the way it's looking, it looks like he is going to have to sign that contract for a match against Adam Page, most likely at All Out. You know what I mean? It's lackadaisical booking. It's shitty. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just very predictable. And to be honest with you, I think Forbidden Door, I think it was shit. To be honest, man. It was very predictable. Yeah, we got the return of Wardlow, but it wasn't one of those, like, holy shit. Like, I think All In was way better than Forbidden Door. Absolutely. By a mile. You know what I mean? And so now it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Because you might be losing two of your top stars for a little bit of time. I know Ospreay's going to be out for quite some time. And he is one, if not one of your biggest stars in the entire company. He's going to be out for a while with a possible neck injury that might require neck surgery. Swerve, he might require some time off dealing with a knee injury. Even though they're trying to build something here between Swerve and Wardlow. We don't know how Swerve, if he's up to date and everything's good with him and everything else. We don't know. He might have to require taking some time off. You know what I mean? A lot of people, even after Forbidden Door, were like, yeah, I think this might be the last time we see Swerve and Ospreay for a little while. They're going to be taking some time off. Yeah, rightfully so. Well, we're going to have Jon Moxley. Everybody's getting sick and tired of Jon Moxley's bullshit, man. The Death Rider shit is done. And here's the other thing I want to talk about, too, that's really starting to piss me off. Bryan Danielson. Now, for a while, after the match he had in, what was it, Wrestle Dream, where he lost the title to Jon Moxley and all this Death Rider shit began, we didn't hear a goddamn thing from Bryan Danielson. There was no rebuttal. There was no, this what's going on, and hey guys, thanks for everything. Nothing. We didn't get a goddamn thing from Bryan. Bryan just he rode off into the fucking sunset with nothing. And then, people started seeing, and videos were, starting to circulate online that he was taking bumps, and he was, at the Grand Slam show in Arena, Mexico for CMML, and, Bryan took a bump, and, oh yeah, he's back in the ring, and he's, looks like he can, keep going. And now, as of late, the past couple weeks on Dynamite and then leading up to Forbidden Door, we've seen him on commentary for Dynamite and for Forbidden Door. Great. It's great to see Bryan back. But then we get to Forbidden Door, and Bryan's on commentary throughout the entire fucking day. And then we get to the last match. And then he's off commentary for 30 minutes. He lets, Excalibur know, he lets Tony Schiavone know, hey guys, because of the circumstances and the reason why I don't get along with these people, I can't be on commentary. And my mind's thinking, okay, well, maybe they're trying to incorporate Bryan into some kind of storyline here or some unfinished business with the Death Rider. No. We didn't hear shit from Bryan. Nothing. He didn't come out for the situation with Ospreay at the end of the match. Nothing. And people are like, well, what is he supposed to do? Why did you make it a point to, I'm going to excuse myself from commentary for this match? Without there being some kind of angle or some kind of storyline. What was the fucking point of doing that? And my thing is, with Bryan, it's either you're back or you're not, bro. I mean, stop wasting people's fucking time. And it might be a hot take for a lot of people. Look, I love Bryan Danielson. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. I really do. I think he's severely underrated. I think he's one of the best in-ring performers of all time. Absolutely. And he's had some fantastic matches and great moments within AEW. Absolutely. My wife would probably even say the same thing. She loves Bryan Danielson. But then we look at the narrative as of late with Bryan, and it's like, bro, are you coming back to wrestle or are you not? Everybody's seeing you take bumps in the ring. I mean, Christ, I think he was even at All In. If I'm not mistaken, he hit a Psycho knee on Wheeler Yuta. So what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we not running this back with Bryan and Jon Moxley? Why are we, what are we incorporating here? Why are you leaving the commentary table for the main event? If you're not a part of some kind of storyline here with the Death Riders, what is the fucking point? Honestly. Oh, hey guys, I got to leave because of the situation here with the Death Riders. So are you revamping this storyline? Are you coming back to pro wrestling on a part-time basis? What are we doing here? Honestly. And that's the shit with Bryan that pisses me off. Stop wasting our fucking time. Honestly. Build a story and do something. Because the other thing that pisses me off with Bryan is, like I said, you lost at Wrestle Dream against Jon Moxley. Then we had this 6-7 month bullshit run with Jon Moxley and this fucking Death Rider shit. We got no rebuttal from Bryan. Bryan lost the match, rode off into the fucking sunset for months. We didn't hear a goddamn thing from Bryan. We didn't hear shit from Bryan Danielson until Grand Slam Mexico, when the show went off air and he was attacking one of the superstars or helping certain superstars in a matchup for the Grand Slam Mexico show. And everybody got to wondering, oh man, he's taking bumps and he's doing this and then doing that. And then like I said, I think it was All In, where he ended up hitting a Psycho knee on Wheeler Yuta, wearing a blue demon mask or some shit like that. So what are we doing here? Are you coming back to the ring or are you not? Honestly, what the fuck are we doing? And my thing is, if Bryan doesn't want to wrestle, and this is my other thing too for Tony Khan and AEW. I know Tony Khan has this whole thing about wanting to take over AEW and he wants full control and all this other bullshit. It's probably the other reason why Cody Rhodes ended up leaving the company. If you're going to incorporate Bryan into Dynamite or whatever, or something like that, why can we not consider having Bryan Danielson an on-air general manager for AEW Dynamite and Collision? Why is this something that's not been in consideration? If you want to keep Bryan on AEW, okay, obviously Bryan has a good working relationship with Tony Khan. Why can't Bryan Danielson be second in command and relay information on live television, being an on-air general manager for AEW for matches and stipulations, the same shit that we're seeing from Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown? Why are we not getting that from Bryan Danielson? I think that would be a great thing to happen for AEW to have an on-air general manager. I think it'd be great. I do. Even if that on-air general manager have a little bit of creative control or a little bit of control, it would alleviate a little bit from Tony Khan, to be honest with you. Make stipulations for matches, or, again, have a Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce experience kind of deal for AEW. I think it would work out great, especially for someone like Bryan Danielson. Absolutely. Or have Bryan run Ring of Honor. Something. Rather than having him on commentary, oh, yeah, I got to leave. What are we doing here, bro? We already saw you hit up a Psycho Neo and Yuta. You had a physical altercation with superstars, not, in a matchup, I would say, at Grand Slam Mexico. You were involved physically in some kind of matchup at Grand Slam Mexico when the show went off the air. So what are we doing here? Are you coming back to wrestle? Are you doing a part-time thing? What are we doing here? Like I said, about 15 to 20 seconds ago, if I was going to bring in Bryan Danielson and have him into the fold more on an on-air thing, I would have Bryan as a general manager for AEW. To be honest. Second in command. Making stipulations of matches, everything else like that, relaying information from Tony Khan to the AEW audience. I think fans would love it. I honestly do. You know what I mean? It's not hard to comprehend. I mean, I understand that he's trying to respect the sport, being Tony Khan. But, dude, I mean, come on, man. If you're saying that you're respecting the sport, then what the hell did we get in the first 3 years of AEW? Why did you give us, the fans, some of the greatest wrestling in the first 3 years of all time, to saying, hey, the hell with y'all, we're going to take things and really go generic for the next, 2.5, 3 years of AEW's existence? It's like you took your gas off the foot pedal, man. We're coasting. You did that shit that you did in the first 3 years of AEW's existence because you wanted to show people at Time Warner and Warner Media what you can produce for them to grant you the money that you got for a new TV rights deal. Now you believe that, AEW is profitable. I can take my foot off the gas pedal and we're going to put on cruise control and we're going to just let this shit ride the way I want it to ride. Giving the fans, honestly, false hope and letting the fans know that we don't give a shit what you think. Even though he was at the media scrum, I want to get, comments from the fans and I want the fans, to give us their intrigue on things. I don't think you generally do, bro, because a lot of the fans want your ass gone. They want you gone. They want you to take a step back from this power trip that you're on and give the fans what we've been asking for this entire time. Compelling storylines. Get us invested in your goddamn product. Give us something that we can actually sink our teeth into, so when the time comes for us to spend this $50 goddamn dollars for these events, we're actually intrigued and happy to spend those $50 for these pay-per-views because you gave us a storyline that was so damn intriguing. We want to see the finals of it. We want to see that, where are we going to go from here? We're not even getting that. You're not even giving us breadcrumbs for these fucking storylines. It says, here it is. This is what you got. This is what we're going to give you. That's it. Give us something, man. Give us something that's at least somewhat compelling for us to get invested in your product. Honestly. Because for the fans out there or podcasters out there, we're still forking out the $50 8 or 9 times a month to watch these pay-per-views, hoping that the pay-per-view is going to be good because we don't have any storyline that's compelling enough to actually sink our teeth into, to actually get invested into any one of these matches. We're getting invested in buying the pay-per-views because we want to see wrestling. But it's going to help and benefit more having a storyline to go along with that wrestling for us fans to get invested. Wrestling's all about storyline, man. I'm sorry. Yes, we got the wrestling aspect of it. I get that. But imagine a great story. Something to really sink your teeth into, really get invested on, what the hell is this? What's going on with this? Who the hell is this person? Why is this happening? Why are we not getting any of that shit? Honestly. I mean, even at this pay-per-view we just got a Forbidden Door, we could have had somebody walk through the Forbidden Door. Make an impact. Like Cross, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, something. Even if it wasn't Cross. Imagine Shayna walking through the door. It's going to be a huge pop. Dakota Kai, huge pop. Oh, man, I can't wait to see, Dynamite this Wednesday. See if we hear about from Dakota Kai. Or Shayna Baszler. Now everybody on Dynamite's, okay, what's going on with Wardlow? When we haven't seen Wardlow on AEW television, I don't know how long. You know what I mean? Get the fans invested, bro. And my thing is with Wardlow, with all due respect, what are you going to do different from Wardlow this time from what you've done the previous 2 times where you shit the bed with Wardlow? You know what I mean? Like, do I have to go back to what, the biggest high-profile match he's had in his entire AEW career with MJF? And the first match that he had after dealing with that great storyline with MJF, you give him JD Drake? Biggest storyline, one of the biggest storylines in AEW history. And after what Wardlow had to go through with MJF, Wardlow's first match, technically as a free man, you give him JD Drake? The fake-ass Larry the Cable Guy? That's what we're doing? Honestly? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Honestly. Give us something to invest in the product. Give us something that could be compelling to the fans, that the fans are going to gravitate towards week in and week out. And because for what it's worth, bro, and I made comments about this last week, and I told you guys flat out that I feel like the way that Collision's being booked is being way better booked than AEW's A show being Dynamite. To be honest with you. Hell, we're getting surprises or debuts on Collision, like Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn makes her long-awaited AEW debut, and she takes on Megan Bayne. Why are we not getting that on Dynamite? Which technically, Dynamite is your A show, from what I understand. No, we're getting a debut of Isla Dawn on Collision. Why are we not getting on your A show being Dynamite? Why? Collision's being booked way better right now than Dynamite, in my honest opinion. Might be a hot take for a lot of people, but the truth is the truth, man. Where are we going from here? And I think now, like I mentioned earlier, now that we're going to be losing Ospreay, possibly Swerve Strickland, where are we going from here? Where is the direction of AEW? Because honestly, I have been saying it and been preaching it for the past, Christ, man, I don't know, a year now? AEW needs to hit the reset button. If the Young Bucks are doing what they're doing, they're putting these Being the Elite episodes back on YouTube or whatever, and we're revamping Being the Elite, and we haven't seen any videos from Being the Elite from the Young Bucks since 2023. Are we doing a complete 360 for the Young Bucks? Great. Come back as the super kick party that we all fell in love with, the reason why we all gravitated towards the Young Bucks. Great. I mean, at this point for Matt and Nick Jackson, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, bro, what's next? What else can we do at this point? Let's go back to what brought us to the dance. Get the fans excited again. Let's sell some more merch. Let's get excited. Let's bring back the Elite, possibly. The original Elite. You know what I mean? Let's revamp this and do this all over again. And not only that, bro, take your egos and shit out of it. Let's have some fun. When AEW first came around, man, they were having some fun. They were having a blast. And because of that, they were giving the fans exactly what they wanted. Funny storylines, great moments, history-making moments, and great matches. And compelling storylines. Why can't we have that again? Everybody's so up in arms and up their asses with their egos. It's unfucking real, man. Well, this person's got this, I don't have this. This person's got this, I don't have... Like, dude, just have fun, man. Enjoy your time being a professional wrestler and making the money that you're making. Like, honestly, shut the fuck up and stop whining. Like, honestly. You look at people like FTR. Stop whining, bro. Stop bitching and complaining. You know what I mean? Stop. MVP and the Hurt Syndicate, man. Stop acting like you run the asylum, bro. Tony Khan needs to be a boss. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. You know what I mean? Honestly. And that's the other problem with AEW. Tony Khan needs to be a boss. Stop trying to rub shoulders with these superstars and sharing White Claws on some fucking yacht somewhere. Be a boss, man. You know what I mean? Stop having the inmates run the asylum. Well, I don't want to work with this guy. Well, tough shit. You don't like it? There's the fucking door. Walk. See ya. Best of luck in your future endeavors, because I can tell you right now, WWE is not going to be calling for Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and MVP to come back to WWE. To be honest. I can promise you that. You know what I mean? Do your fucking job. Stop acting like you're the boss. Stop acting like you're running shit, because MVP ain't running shit. Hurt Syndicate ain't running shit. You're employees under AEW. Stop acting like you run the goddamn show, bro. And that's one of the things about AEW, I think, is one of the other biggest things about them that's so bad, is the fucking egos that are backstage. And I'm not just pointing out the Hurt Syndicate in the MVP situation, but they play a part in that shit too. Oh, better believe it. You know what I mean? You also had egos from Guevara and Eddie Kingston, Andrade. You know what I mean? CM Punk's issue. Like, people have so many fucking egos in this company. It's unreal. Enjoy your time in the company, bro, and just wrestle. And if you don't like it, there's the fucking door. Ask for your fucking release, man. And see if you get the same money that you're making in AEW, or you get the opportunities over in WWE, because everybody thinks that going over to WWE is the grass is green on the other side. I don't see how it is, bro, because WWE is just as bad right now, to be honest with you. It's not, oh yeah, WWE's doing so much better shit. No, they're not. Their storylines are lacking. The wrestling aspect of their shows are severely lacking. And they're focused more on the business side of things for WWE for the future, which is great. WWE's business model right now and what they're doing, man, like I said, they're miles ahead of what AEW's doing. Locking a deal down with ESPN and everything else like that. Absolutely. AEW on that aspect is playing second fiddle immensely compared to WWE. But don't get it twisted, bro. The wrestling and the storyline concept between both companies are about the goddamn same. AEW is a little bit worse, but it's not like WWE is blowing the doors off the roof with compelling storylines and great matches. Just being real. Just being honest, man. And usually WWE, they kind of fall into this weird thing during the summer where it kind of gets kind of murky for WWE in the summer. It usually picks up in the winter. But we're going to see how it's going to play out. Obviously, they have, WrestlePalooza's coming up and, everything else like that. So we're going to see how it plays out. But like I said, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, WWE is going to be, the best thing ever. It ain't really benefiting Jade Cargill. They're not really doing shit with Jade. It benefit Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes has a big following. He also had, it's Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? But what's Andrade been doing? You know what I mean? He's been teaming up with Ray Phoenix. He's not really doing a whole lot. You got Aleister Black. Yeah, there's a little story here with him and R-Truth, but it's not really something that's, holy shit. No, it's not. It's not. And I respect the hell out of Aleister Black, but it's not something where it's like, oh yeah, man, he's in the main event scene, or he's in the the United States Championship. No, he's not. He's not. Phoenix, he's teaming up with Andrade. It's not like Phoenix is on this great singles run. Penta, yeah, when Penta came in the WWE, he was on a hot streak. Everybody loved Penta. And people still do love Penta, but it's not like we're seeing Penta back in the Intercontinental, realm of things, or in the main event scene. He's not. He's mid-card at best. Right now. That's just the way it is. I mean, Christ, I think it was, last week or 2 weeks ago? Penta was wrestling Xavier Woods for some apparent fucking reason? After he was gone off television up to that point for almost 3 fucking weeks? Come on, man. Come on. So again, you have to ask yourself, really, is it benefiting a lot of AEW superstars? Oh, it's shitty over here. We're going to go to WWE. I'm going to be a big mega star. No, it's not. Jade's shit in the bed. They're not doing shit with Jade. You know what I mean? Cody Rhodes, yeah, it's benefiting Cody immensely. Absolutely. But he's a workhorse, man. He knows he's the quarterback right now. He knows what the hell he's doing. And he's had some great moments and great matches within WWE once he's returned. Absolutely. Andrade really ain't doing shit. Phoenix really ain't doing shit. Penta, he's here and there, but he's not, oh my God, he's going after the Intercontinental Championship or the World Heavyweight title. No. He's not in the conversation for that shit right now. No. So then you look at, like, Aleister Black. You're having a storyline with R-Truth. Great. Are you top of the card? No. You're mid-card at best right now. Because I don't see that they really have a direction for you right now. They're giving you R-Truth. That's it. Ricky Starks, Ethan Page. Yeah, Ethan Page is doing good things over at NXT, but it's not, again, it's still NXT. It's not NXT Black and Gold. You know what I mean? It's just not. So again, for those talent, oh yeah, they're going over to, like, how much is it really genuinely going to benefit you? Plus, they have to find a place for you. To be honest with you. Some of those AEW superstars think, oh, they're going right to the main roster. No. Some of y'all, you want to go over to WWE, you're going right to NXT, developmental program. To get you, accommodated with the WWE system. And hopefully that you can learn it, and learn it quick. So eventually you can get called up to the main roster. You know what I mean? You look at someone like Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace should have been on the main roster. She's still wrestling with NXT. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes some of those superstars a long time to get called up from NXT to the main roster. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And that's developmental. That's not like you're on an A show or a B show. No, that's developmental. It to get you ready for either Raw or SmackDown. You know what I mean? So really, how much is it really going to genuinely benefit you to go over to WWE, where you think the grass is greener? It's not. Both WWE and AEW have their faults, man, for sure. Storylines are lacking. Pro wrestling is lacking as well. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So now, like I said, as far as AEW is concerned, I think the biggest question in the room is where's the direction of where we're going? What is next for AEW? You know what I mean? You're losing one of your biggest stars in the company. He's going to be probably out for a year and a half with neck surgery. You still have superstars that are out. Where's Orange Cassidy? There's a lot of AEW talent right now that are out. To be honest with you, that people are not even talking about. Nyla Rose, Orange Cassidy, Serena Deeb. You know what I mean? Rio, Sheeta, Britt Baker, Camille. You know what I mean? Where are those talents? Jack Perry. Like I mentioned earlier, Orange Cassidy. We finally see the return, finally, from Wardlow. Jericho. We don't know what's going on with Jericho. He might be on his way out and jumping ship over to WWE. I made a video about that not too long ago. You know what I mean? Where's these talents, man? Where's Ortiz? Kingston's out. Orange Cassidy's out. Where are we going from here, man? Adam Cole's out. Keith Lee's been out. Nobody even talks about Keith Lee no more. He's been out for a while. So again, where are we going with AEW moving forward? You know what I'm saying? That's my whole point about all of this shit with you guys, man. It's just, yeah, Forbidden Door, we got it, but where's after the fact, where are we going next? Are we going to incorporate more tag teams into the AEW tag team division? Are we going to bring back possibly Jack Perry and Luchasaurus to reunite Jurassic Express? What's going on with the Guns? Where's Austin and Colton Gunn? We saw the return of Jack Perry, Juice. There's also no Jay White. You know what I mean? Jay White, again, top star for the company. He's out with injury. Well, where the hell's Pac? Haven't seen Pac in a while. I don't even think Pac's even involved in the Death Riders anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still talent that's, out. We also saw the return of Jamie Hayter. She was out for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, no offense with AEW, sometimes you kind of need all hands on deck because Tony Khan does not know how to build future stars for this business and get you actually invested in that that certain superstar. He just doesn't. He relies on veteran talent that get injured quickly, or you invest everything into that one superstar, and then your company's like, okay, what the hell are we going to do now? Because this guy got injured, he needs time off. He's going to have to require certain surgeries or this, that, and the other. Where are we moving? Where's the progression of the company? Where are we going next? And I think a lot of people are going to find that out on Dynamite. Hopefully. Because in about 3 weeks' time, we have All Out. And you're going head-to-head. And that's the thing, too, that people need to realize, man. AEW literally, I think the same day, are going literally head-to-head with WWE. You have All Out, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, or Ontario, Canada. And then you also have WrestlePalooza. WWE is bringing back an old ECW pay-per-view. And supposedly the rumored main event for that WrestlePalooza event is going to be John Cena taking on Brock Lesnar. So how are we going, if I'm AEW, how are we going to surpass that? What are we going to do to gravitate the fans towards us and have them watch our event besides Lesnar and Cena? Because I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, I gave my standpoint on Lesnar, and my standpoint remains the same. But you can't sit here and tell me that there ain't going to be fans going to be gravitating towards their television to watch WrestlePalooza because it's Brock's first match back. And it's not just some bullshit match. It's Lesnar versus Cena. A lot of history there between Cena and Lesnar. So people want to see it. They want to see how WrestlePalooza is going to look like because there's a lot of ECW fans out there like myself. Like, holy shit, they're bringing back an old ECW pay-per-view like WrestlePalooza. I wonder what else is going to happen. They're going to have some Extreme Rules matches on this card. You know what I mean? So how is AEW going to top that? We're going to have, Edge and Christian take on the AEW Tag Team Champions and have them walk out? Tag Team Champions? You're going to need more than that. You're going to need more than that. And how are you going to do that with not having the likes of Will Ospreay? Or possibly no Swerve? How are you going to incorporate and have a decent card for All Out when you only got 3 weeks to build towards this event? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's common sense, folks. It's not something where I'm like, I'm sitting here, oh, well, you're an AEW hater. No. I want the company to succeed, just like I want WWE to succeed. I don't want AEW to close down. I don't. And for those people out there that want AEW to close down, you're not a pro wrestling fan. You're just not. You're someone that is pro WWE and you want AEW just to close up shop, but then you're like, oh, I'll take all their talents. Come on, bro. Come on. I want AEW to succeed, but I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything for y'all. Like I told you, I'm not here to rub shoulders with these fucking people. If the show's bad, then I'm going to tell you the fucking show's bad. If it's good, then it's good. It's my show. Simple as that. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit and say, oh yeah, the show was great when it sucked. No, the show sucked. AEW in the past 2 years have sucked. And I don't know what the fuck happened. I gave my opinion about it, and I still go back onto the fact that they were waiting to have their TV rights deal. And once they got their goddamn money, Tony Khan said, you know what? I'm going to put this show on cruise control. We're just going to coast our asses by until the next time we have contract negotiations for a new TV rights deal. Which, honestly, if I'm the representatives from Time Warner and Warner Media, I'm contemplating everything with AEW before I throw out hundreds of millions of dollars to this company. When, if you look at the, analytics of this company, it's not looking good. It's not. From a business aspect, it's not looking good at all. Your ratings are in the toilet. Pay-per-view buys are down. Yeah, you're selling out, these arenas, but only for pay-per-views. The TV metrics for your weekly episodic television are immensely down. You guys haven't even hit 1 million views since the CM Punk days, or when they showed the video of the altercation that happened with CM Punk and the shit that happened. I think it was at All In between him and Jack Perry. Since then, they haven't even got close to 1 million rating on television. Collision is shit. Dynamite ain't doing good. You went from going to arenas to smaller arenas that you can hold maybe 1,100 to 1,500 people, and you can't even sell out those arenas. That's a huge fucking problem. So from a business standpoint the metrics don't look great. The analytics look like shit. So like I said before, if I was a representative from Time Warner and Warner Media, you bet your ass that you're going to be looking at that shit. Because before I fork out $400 million for a 5-year TV rights deal with AEW and Time Warner, I'm looking at all that shit. Because if I was somebody that was working for Time Warner, I would have to ask Mr. Tony Khan himself, what can you do for me that could actually get me inclined to want to fork out this kind of money? What are you doing to produce better shows? What are you doing to increase, fans for your show? You know what I mean? Why are we not selling out smaller arenas? Why? I would ask these questions, absolutely. Absolutely. And right now, the way the shit's looking, there ain't much choices for AEW to really go as far as a TV rights deal is concerned. Maybe Fox, if Fox is interested in picking them up. I know there was rumors about AEW having a third show with AEW Shockwave that fell through. That was supposed to be produced by Fox, and that fell through. So maybe Fox, if Time Warner and Warner Media don't work out, maybe Fox can pick up AEW. Other than that, I don't know. But I can tell you this right now. Like I said, if I was a representative from Time Warner and Warner Media, I don't know if I'd really be inclined to fork out hundreds of millions of dollars to AEW when, like I said, the analytics show itself, man, they're not doing that well. You go from big arenas to smaller venues like a music hall or something like that that can hold 1,100 to 1,500 people, and you're not even selling those arenas out. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You know what I mean? And TV ratings are down, pay-per-view buys are down. AEW needs to hit the reset button, bro, and they need to figure out what the hell they're going to be doing. Because like I said, they're going to be going head-to-head with WWE here relatively soon. With I believe it's All Out and WrestlePalooza. So like I said before, where is the direction of this company? Where is AEW going for the future? And I think Tony Khan and AEW really need to figure that out moving forward. And my standpoint is the same. AEW desperately needs to hit the reset button. And on top of that, I think at the end of the day, maybe AEW actually needs to really truly consider closing the Forbidden Door. But with that being said, this is my review of